man who is running for president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. His name is Joseph Faduri. We will get to hear from him and get to know more about him. Um, from the look of things, this is not his first time aspiring for such position. He will tell us some more about why he ran the first time and why he's running again the second time. But first of all, let's get to meet him. Mr. Joseph
Yes,
Faduri, good afternoon, good evening. I believe you're calling from, well, you're joining us from Nigeria, sir, right?
I'm joining from United States, so it is noon here at 12 p.m.
12 p.m. Thank you for joining us, sir. So good to have you on board with us today. We
Thank
would
you.
love to get to meet you, get to know you. There are thousands and hundreds and millions of people who will get to watch us and get to know who you are and what you're all about from all over the world. The world is global now. The Nigerians in every part of the world. So we never know who's getting to listen to this, who's getting to watch you, and we never know where this could go. So we're happy to have you on board. We would like to meet you. Please, so please tell us more about yourself. Who are you? Can we meet you? Over to you, sir.
Thank you for having me on this show today. I want to say thank you for also allowing your platform for Nigerians to be able to hear about their candidates, because that will go a long way in helping them to make an informed decision in the next election. My name is Faduri Oluwadare Joseph. I'm a licensed nurse in the US, and I'm the presidential candidate of Action Alliance AA in the upcoming general election in 2027. The youngest of the candidates, and a candidate that wants to preach about a generational shift of power in our nation. That it is time for us to rewrite the story of Nigeria. It's been a story that has not been palatable in the last couple of years. It is time to rewrite that story and to create a new script and to make Nigeria great and giant again. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you. You ran in 2019. Please correct
2023.
2023.
2023.
2023. On
Um,
the
uh,
go ahead,
Under
sir.
Labour Party.
On the
Basically, what happened was that before 2023, I was part of those Nigerians who were complaining about how things were bad in our country. I've been in the United States for over 15 years, and I come often to Nigeria twice or even twice a year. But when I come to Nigeria and when I go back, I realize that things were worse than the last time I came. So I was wondering, why is it that when I come to Nigeria, things were always worse, than the last time I came. So that's why I said, okay, instead of complaining about it, let me see what is happening in other nations of the world. And I traveled to up to 26 countries around the world to see what is working there that is not working in our nation. And I realized that the only thing that is working in those countries, though not perfect, is leadership. We lack leadership in our country. We have a good leader. When you have leaders who all they are doing is stealing, what do you expect the followers to do? When you have leaders who are looting, what do you expect the followers to do? So our nation is a country that has everything, but lacks everything because of lack of good leadership at the top. And I said, okay, so if that is the case, then what are we going to do about it? And I think the voice says to me, say, okay, what are you going to do about it? Stop complaining, get involved, and make a change in your nation. And that was why in 2022, I left United States and I went to wake up a dead and sleeping Labour Party and make it viable, make it vibrant. Before Mr. Peter B came in a few days to the primary, and when the party said, "Oh, okay, maybe because it's been a past governor, so let's see if we can, if I can step down for him," I wasn't desperate. I just want Nigeria to work. So if Mr. Peter B can do it, let's go. I gave him the ticket in 2023. I came back to the US to start the obedient movement in the US registered. You can go and verify. And the election come and gone. But in 2027, I felt that it is time for a change of power completely from the old to the younger generation. Because these people who are contesting today, some of them have been running Nigeria since 1999, when some of us were still probably babies. And they told us we're going to be leaders of tomorrow. So at 49, 50-year-old? When are we going to be leaders of tomorrow if we don't pick up our nation today and start running it? So some of them are in their 70s, they're in their 80s. It is time for them to retire. It is time for them to pass the baton. And that is why I'm taking over, that responsibility, that it is time for us, we, the younger generation, to take our country and run with it. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you very much, sir, for that. We never got to know that. Thanks for sharing that you were one of those who started the obedient movement. Many watching us today would literally ask the question as to whether or not it's wrong for an individual who is considered, just like you've said, to be in the older generation to aspire for the presidency. What do you have to say to such individuals out there who would be asking the question as to what's wrong with being old, and what's wrong with um, being in the old generation and running for president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, um, especially when you could still deliver. What's wrong with that?
Thank you. A lot is wrong with that. As far as Africa, most importantly, is concerned, if you look at the rest of the world that is prospering, you realize that their leaders are young. And the ones that have older leaders, they have a structure already in place that with or without them, the nation can function. But when you look at our country, Nigeria, look at the crop of leaders at their old age who are trying to change our country. They are leaders who, even when they were young, they were never best of leaders in our country. They are corrupt, and there is nothing that we can write home about that they have done so much enough to warrant that, they have created a structure in our nation or institutions that can help make the country or the nation greater. But not just that. They have experience, but the experience they have is not in nation building. The experience they have is in looting. The experience they have is in corruption. The experience they have is not in how to make our country better, but it's in sharing rice and beans. That's the experience they have when we're talking about technology, AI in other nations. So at this time of our nation, it is time for them to pass the baton. They have done their best, and their best is not good enough. I'm not going to run a campaign of insulting elders or abusing any of them, but to tell them it is time for them to pass the baton. A white man says 65-year-old is an age of retirement. Why do you think they put retirement at 65? Not because there's no wisdom, not because you don't have the capability, because at 65, you are now declining. Not just only in wisdom, you are declining in health. You are declining in everything. Look at the last 8 years of Muhammadu Buhari. He spent more of the years outside of the country for medical treatment more than being in the year for taking care of the business he was hired for. Look at the same thing with our President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Every 2 months is out of the country, going for medical treatment abroad. You can imagine how much dollars we are wasting, how much resources that Nigeria is committed to. They are going abroad for medical treatment. We need a younger generation of leaders who will be in the country, who is elected to be Nigerian president, who will stay in Nigeria to fix Nigerian problem and not running to France and Europe every 2 months. So this is why there's a problem with these older generations, that it is time for them to rest. They are tired and they have run out of ideas. Thank you.
Thank you. So let's pick back from what you said. Is it that it's the absence of a younger presidential candidate or aspirant that got you into the race for presidency? Was that what got you into the race?
What got me into the race is when I see not just that there's been younger people getting into the race. At least Showore has tried a couple of times, and many other younger people. But since Nigeria, the last 12 years, has not accepted Showore as a candidate, so let a new breed, young person, come out to join the race. That is one. Number two, I saw a nation that has everything and yet lacked everything. Nigerians were not asking for too much. Nigerians are only asking for basic, for their government to provide the basic security, food, jobs. Those were the basic things. Housing, those basic things were what Nigerians were asking for. But these leaders we have could not even give Nigerians the basic. Before General Abacha died, he said if there is any insurgence that lasts for more than 48 hours, people in government are part of it. Look at the way insecurity has become a business in our nation, where our government has lost control of insecurity. Look at the way farmers cannot even go to farm anymore. Nigeria used to be the food bucket of the world before. Nigeria used to be as safe as the heavens. You can walk from Sokoto to Maiduguri barefooted without even taking a vehicle. Now, with your vehicle, you are flying plane, you are afraid to land. Ukraine that is fighting war is even safer than our country where there is no war. Insecurity has ravaged nation, and these leaders has no control. They don't even know what to do. When the world are using tech, look at what Ukraine is doing with a drone of $35,000. They are fighting war. I'm not even sure whether we can even fly a drone in our nation. Kidnapping all over the country. Unemployment like the world has never seen. Many youth are now, leaving the country because there is no greener pasture in our nation. They are looking for greener pastures in other nations when we have everything to succeed in our nation. So all of these things were what, put together that I said, no, it is time for someone like us, for God to use us to rescue our nation. And that is why we started Rescue Movement in 2023. That was what was changed to Obedient Movement. And now we're back to Rescue Movement, because if there's anything our nation needs, it's a rescue. Let's rescue, let's rebuild, and let's restore the glory. In 1974, Nigerians were borrowing money to the World Bank, IMF, everybody. The country that was borrowing other people's money, other governments' money, other nations' money, other organizations' money, we are now the one borrowing. And we're not even borrowing for development, we are borrowing to loot. The national cake has finished. It is time to build, rebuild, and restore the glory of our country. And that is why I'm in this race.
Thank you. Thank you. We must pause to specifically thank you for running for president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. We must commend you, not just because it's that office in particular, but because you are aspiring to run for an elective office in Nigeria. That is commendable. That's a noble thing to do, and we commend you for that. You happen to, well, it's fair to say you reside in Nigeria and as well as the United States.
Yes.
And life for you is okay. Life for you is better off compared to so many Nigerians in Nigeria. And yet you have decided, just like some few others, to leave the comfort of your home and to throw your hat in the ring and aspire for an office. We commend you for that, and we're thankful for that for you. Which leads us to the question as to, it's not a question of why not other offices. You are aspiring for the president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. It's a question of what do you intend to do when you become the president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
Thank you. And that is exactly where policy information comes into play. You realize that most of the people who are aspiring today to run for office in our country, they have no policy. They don't have a manifesto. Our present government say, it's my turn. That was just the manifesto. And now it's his turn. His turn to what? His turn to recreate Nigeria for renew hope, or it was a renew hunger. His turn for renew stealing. Now, what am I going to do when I become Nigerian president? First and foremost, I am going to return back the fuel subsidy that we removed, so that fuel can go back to 299 naira it was before this administration. Because let's look at what has happened in the last 4 years. This president removed subsidy. Where is the subsidy money? 211 trillion. Right now, subsidy money cannot be accounted for in NMPC. Think about it. Our old budget for the year is 195 trillion. And now 211 trillion is missing. Now tell me, what did we do with that money? Nobody is called to question. Nobody is called for to come and tell Nigerian people how that amount of money can be missing in only one ministry. So it means that we only have the subsidy removed so that people can steal. So let's put the subsidy back to start with, so that we can take fuel back to 299 naira. When we do that, you will see the economy of Nigeria will pick up within the first 6 months. Now, when we finish that, let us now look at the refineries that our leaders refuse to fix. It is political that they refuse to fix it. How can a Dangote, a one man, build a refinery, and a whole nation who has all the money, all the power, cannot build one? So it means that not fixing the refinery is political, so that they can take crude oil out of the nation and claim to refine it abroad. And now the subsidy they are collecting is what they will use, to siphon cash. So let us see how we can actually fix that refinery, because the day we fix refineries, that is the day that subsidy is gone. That is how to remove subsidy. Fix your refinery so that you can be making sure that your crude oil is refined in your nation. You don't have to take it abroad and pay dollars and bring it back, that you have to pay for the differences. During this war that is going on between Iran and United States, I visited Doha, Qatar. Do you know that before the war, fuel in Qatar is 2 Qatarian riyal. And during the war right now, if you go to Qatar, or if you have somebody in Qatar, you can call them. Qatar is still selling fuel for the same price, 2 Qatarian riyal. Do you know why? Because everything is done in their nation. They don't have to take it to a foreign country where they have to pay dollars to refine it. So let us return the fuel subsidy. If there is no corruption, we will pay that subsidy in 8 years. Buhari was paying the subsidies and we're not dying. Buhari did not even borrow money as much as President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has borrowed, even when he has removed subsidy. And all we are seeing money being done is being looted. That's number one. Number two that I'm going to do is that I'm going to make sure that nobody travel abroad anymore for medical treatment. Do you know that in our budget, 34 billion US dollars is for medical treatment of our president abroad? $34 billion is 55 trillion naira. You can imagine how many hospitals we can build with 55 trillion naira. That we're going to hire nurses, hire doctors, train new ones, and there will be more Nigerians that will get jobs. Cook will get jobs. Cleaners will get jobs. Gatesman will get jobs. Computer operators will get jobs. Customer service will get jobs. Therapists will get jobs. We will create millions of jobs. Not only that, when we are done with that, because the reason why we are having no jobs in our country, because we are taking the money of the country abroad. How many times have you seen the president of France go to US to go and get medical treatment? How many times have you seen the president of US going to UK to go and get medical treatment? So all of these monies can be pushed into our economy and make the economy greater. Out of the 26 countries that I've gone to, I also realized that all of them, they use cars made in their country. Americans use cars made in America. Europe use cars made in Europe. Mexico use cars made in Mexico. Even if you go to Turkey, Turkey use cars assembled and made in Turkey. It's only Nigeria, with 240 million people, we are importing cars to be used by government officials. Why don't we encourage Inochukus, the innocents, and say we're going to make innocents the official car of Nigeria? You know what will happen? Innocents will create 10 million jobs, because he will have to put plants in the east, put plants in the west, put plants in the north. And when he put all these plants to make vehicles for government, what happened? He's creating jobs. And also the money stays in our economy. When the money stays in our economy, then our dollar, our naira will appreciate against dollar, because now we are a producing country. One, we are producing healthcare. Nobody is going abroad again. Now we are producing cars. Nobody is buying American-made cars. If Japan wants to give us Toyota, it should come and assemble it in our nation. If Mercedes want to sell Mercedes in our country, come and put assembly in our country. When you do that, you will all of these companies will come. Tesla will come. Elon Musk will come to your country because they know that Nigeria buy all these things. So when you make policies to bring them down, you will realize that you will create jobs for your country. That is what Nigerian youth are running to do abroad. If the job is their nation, they will stay and they will contribute to the economy. So that is that. Then we're going to make sure also that in the area of education, we're not going to do just free education. It's compulsory education. That's what I see abroad. They do free and compulsory education. Compulsory in the sense that you will make sure that every child from 0 to 18 that is qualified to go to school is going to school by compulsory. Not that he's been told to go to Ilekeu or to go to church to go and learn. No, it is compulsory. When you do that, the children you trained will not join Boko Haram tomorrow. Look at the kidnappers we see on TikTok today. They are children that these leaders refused to train 10 years ago, 20 years ago, 30 years ago. But if they have a little education and there's something up there in their brain, they will not be joining Boko Haram and all of that. Then security is the most important thing. What are we going to do? We're going to make sure that we reorientate and reorganize our military. How do you pay a military man 100,000 to go and die, and you are paying a senator 18 million? So it's not going to work. Let's purge the military of those who are Boko Haram sympathizers who are inside the military. When we do that, let's increase their salary. Let's buy equipment that can work, and let us make sure that when we do that, we are not just taking people from battlefield of Boko Haram and putting them in our military and say they are repentant. How do you measure their repentancy? But what you are doing is that you are putting Boko Haram in the military, who will now be an informant to those in their battlefield. So it is not a rocket science. Nigeria is fixable. These are the basic things we're going to do, and before you know it, Nigeria will begin and start changing for the better. But most importantly, we're going to fight corruption like it's supposed to be fought. Any country where there's no law and order, people can do whatever they like. Somebody said snake ate money. Another one said monkey ate money. What did we do to them? Nothing. Any country where there's no law and order, reward and punishment, people will continue to steal. We're going to completely front against stealing. When you are a leader and you don't steal, then people that are following you, we know that no, this is not a government to steal. It is enough because we have stolen so much. Everyone who have been stealing from Nigeria from 1960 to 2026, we will forgive them. But from 2027, when I'm a Nigerian president, don't attempt to do it, because when you do, we'll make you a scapegoat. When you make 1, 2, 3 people an example, the rest will do the right thing. Thank you.
Thank you. Before we move past employment and as well as insecurity, I want us to tie the two together in a way. On insecurity, especially taking into consideration that you were running for president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria under a political party called the Action Alliance. If you were to be elected as the president, you would get to have under you governors who are of different or various diverse political parties, in the north and the south. How do you work with all these colleagues of yours in such a way that you are able to properly handle insecurity and as well as ensure that job creation continues to progress, keeping in mind that many would most likely not want to work with you because you have a different political party? So how do you navigate all these things?
Well, thank you for that question. No matter the political party that we belong to, I'm sure that there's one interest that we all have together: how Nigeria will prosper. There is nobody in Nigeria, whether you are from APC or PDP or Action Alliance, where I'm representing, that you don't want Nigeria to prosper. So we have a common interest, and the common interest is to lead a nation of prosperity. But what we have now is the opposite. Now, how do we get to a place of prosperity, secured nation? Definitely, I'm going to work with all of these governors. But remember, most of these governors don't even have the authority over the security of the nation. The federal government has the authority over the security of the entire nation. The states are just given peanuts, to work with security. If anything happens in the state now, they'll have to call the federal government first. So everything is centralized in the federal government. So if the federal government can get its ass together, if they see a leader who is sincere, if they see a leader who is ready, and if they see a leader who means what he says, you will see that everybody will do the right thing. I will also be a president that will be talking to Nigerians every day. I love when I see American, leaders talking to their citizens almost every week. It gives the citizens the sense of belonging that, yes, we are part of this government. This man is carrying us along. When you do that, when you look at our nation, the last 4 years, I don't think you can count up to 1 to 5 times that our president has spoken to Nigerian people in press conference. I don't think you can count 5. But when you go to nations that are working, you will see their leaders talking to them every now and then, telling people what to do, what is working, what is not working, so that people can come together to support such a government. So I'm going to carry the people of Nigeria along, and it's going to be a movement, not just for election. Even after the election, the movement continues. Any leaders who is not ready to make Nigerian work will have something to answer to Nigerian people. So we're going to work with them to make sure that states where I see that the governor is not ready to work and his security seems to be sabotaged by the government, we declare emergency there and do the right thing, fix it. If you're ready to fix it, see, Nigerian president has a lot of power. Few years ago, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, 1 or 2 years ago, declared state of emergency in Rivers State, even where there was no emergency. So imagine the states that are now the devil with insecurity in Nigeria. Then you can declare state of emergency. If the governor is not ready to follow what is going to secure his people, we declare state of emergency. So the president has a lot of things he can do, a lot of power that he weighs. Nigerian president is the most powerful president in the world, not even American president, because power rests in the hands of Nigerian president. American president, power does not completely rest in his hand. There is people that can stop him. The people can stop him. Senate can stop him. House of Rep can stop him. The judiciary can stop him. But in Nigeria, everybody is in the pocket of Nigerian president. So you can see how powerful a Nigerian president can be if he's ready to fix his nation. So it is fixable. So while we are creating all these jobs, bringing all these good ideas to make Nigeria work, anyone who's going to stand in the way, Nigeria will have something to do with that.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Joseph. I want us to go back to what you said regarding the Labour Party, the former political party you belonged to, how that
Okay.
you mentioned of you stepping down for Mr. Peter Obi so he could emerge as the candidate on the Labour Party. Do you have any regret towards that decision? Do you feel you would have done a way better job in that election of 2023, defeating whoever was in the race at that time, other than Mr. Peter Obi?
Well, I wouldn't say I have any regrets. And the reason why I say so was because I've never, been a tribalistic person. And all I want is Nigeria to work. And I'm just a young man with no political experience, just with a pure heart, coming into politics and wanted to see how things will work. Having Mr. Peter Obi being the head of the ticket was never a problem for me because I wasn't desperate. It wasn't out of desperation, because most politicians we have today are desperate politicians. That's why you see that they want to be there. It's a do or die affair. It shouldn't be a do or die affair. We are going to serve the people. So if somebody else is better than you, okay, at that point in time, as at 2023, Okay, let them go. Even after giving the ticket to Mr. P2B, some of these oppositions came to me. They were ready to give me money so I can go to court and stop what they are doing today. But I said, no, I'm not going to no court. If Mr. P2B can win, let him go and win. Even though, even the Mr. P2B didn't even treat me well, most of the things we agreed upon was not done at the end of the day. Most of the funds I spent, both him and the party never refunded a penny back. But it's okay. Even at that, I was patriotic to my country, that the love of my nation should be more important and supersede the love of myself. So if Mr. P2B can win then, and let's restart our country, let us go. And that's what we can do. So I have not much regret. Whatever regret I have that is personal is not enough for me to feel that I should not have given the ticket out. So I think it was we're talking about it today because Nigeria can now see that if this young man can do that 4 years ago without going to court, without fighting, even when it was with the way things were, then that means that he can be a good leader today. So nobody will say, oh, maybe he's a Yoruba man. He's being used against us. So nobody can say that today because they saw where I'm coming from. They saw my capability and what I can deliver for Nigerian people. And in the last 4 years too, it gave me opportunity to learn more about Nigerian politics. Nigerian politics is different from every politics in the world. Completely different. The people are not honest. The people are gullible. The people, most of them, I'm sorry to say, are not patriotic. They're only looking for where to eat, not necessarily thinking about Nigeria. So I was able to understand and learn all of that. And all of this will help, governance. Because when you get to government, all of these people are going to be around you. They are soothsayers, not telling you the truth of what is happening, on the streets of Nigeria. So all of this is what I've seen, that they just want to tell you what they want you to hear, but they won't tell you some truth a lot of time. So I learned so much within the last 4 years, understanding the politicians first. Because if you don't understand politicians, when you get there, how do you work with them? How do you break even before you can even break to take care of the country?
Thank you, sir. We're going to talk on zoning very soon. Before we come to zoning, many would love to understand your intent as to why you're doing things differently this year, 2026, towards the 2027 election, as compared to what you did in 2023. How that in 2023 you stepped down for a different person, which is Mr. Peter Obi, so he could contest for the office of the presidency. And you never switched parties. But now, in a different year, 2026, towards the 2027 election, you are running for president, the same very office Mr. Peter Obi is also running for, and you are in a different political party. Why? Why does that differ? What's going on?
Thank you.
What has changed?
Thank you. That's a very, very, very good question. After stepping down for Mr. P2B, and getting to know a little bit much about him, I see that we have a lot of differences that I feel that is not going to help our country. Number one, Mr. P2B to me is a good man. I appreciate that. But being a good man alone is not enough to run a country. Being a good man alone is not enough to run a country. And that was exactly what happened in Labour Party. He was a good man, but he doesn't have a leadership quality to put his house in order. And under him, we can blame everybody. But not blame the man on top of. He was the leader of the party. As a leader of a house, if your house is in disarray, it is your duty to fix it. We are blaming President Bola Ahmed Tinubu today for insecurity in Nigeria. Because why? Because he is the president of Nigeria. We're not going to blame Faduri Joseph. We're not going to blame Jude Ese for what is happening in Nigeria. Who do we blame? We blame the leader of the country. But look at how Labour Party was torn apart. And Mr. P2B could not undo just Labour Party. So what happened? Labour Party is a macrocosm of the macrocosm of Nigeria. So if Labour Party that represents a small Nigeria, where you have the good, the bad, and ugly, we cannot manage them. How would such a man manage a complex nation like Nigeria? This is not Anambra State, where people speak almost the same language. This is a whole country, number one. Number two, when Mr. Peter Obi finally was leaving Labour Party, he went to go and join ADC. I was shocked because how do you campaign against people and 2 years later, you went to go and join them? I can't imagine to see a Barack Obama in America leaving Democratic Party to go and join Mr. Trump in Republican Party. It can't happen because the ideology is different. So if your ideology is different from the people you went to go and join, then what inspired you to go and join them? Because the only reason why you left at the end of the day was because you were not guaranteed of being given ticket. If you were guaranteed of being given ticket, you will have stayed with them. So meaning that you are going to form a government with the same people that destroy our nation to what it is today. So that means ideologically, you are not different than them. Finally, Mr. Peter Obi finally left from one party to another, not ready, running away from crisis, but looking for a party where there is no crisis. And you want to run a nation that is crisis middle name every day. Let us be realistic. If you're going to be a Nigerian president, you must be a man that is ready to have 10 layers of body skin because it is crisis packed every day. You can't run from it. So running to a place where there won't be crisis. Now, when you now become Nigerian president, if there is crisis, are you going to run to Niger or run to France? And now you are picking Kwakwanso as your running mate. Kwakwanso is 70 years now. Kwakwanso is one of the APC PDP, part of the people we are talking about, who have brought Nigeria to where it is today. It was former governors, former senator, former this, former that. It's been in Nigerian government for 42 years. Kwakwanso has not done anything spectacular than every other person. And now you are also going into an agreement of after 4 years, you hand over to Kwakwanso. How much more can you do in 4 years? Nigeria is destroyed more than what you can imagine. We are in a hole that before you dig up the hole to the point of handing over a power to a Kwakwanso who will be 74-year-old, by the time you're handing over power to him, the arrangement is a fraudulent arrangement. And I wouldn't want to be part of that. So instead of them making such arrangement for us, that in 4 years' time, Kwakwanso will say, Milokon, it's my turn now. Let us start our country afresh. A generational shift of power. They have tried. Mr. Peter Obi has tried. Kwakwanso have tried. Atiku have tried. Ameti have tried. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu have tried. Every one of them, they should please rest and let the power go to a new generation. Let's pick our country. This Titanic ship is sinking. Let's get a new sailor to get it running. And that is why I'm charting a new path in 2027. I don't know if I make myself as clear as possible.
You certainly did. You certainly did. You seem to be hinting in a way that you made a mistake stepping aside for Mr. Peter Obi, which leads us to, and you made mention of political ideology. Many would seem to differ that in a nation such as Nigeria, there are no political ideologies yet, which might be wrong. We would get to learn from you today. Maybe your political party, the Action Alliance, has a political ideology. We're curious. Do you mind sharing those ideologies with us, if at all your political party do have some? What are they?
Thank you. You see, to be honest with you, if you are able to pick the constitution of all of these political parties, and when you look at their constitution, you'll be shocked how beautiful they have coined a manifesto down for those political parties. It is because Nigerians don't read. Because we don't read, we only think that all of these parties, they just are the same. They are not. When you go and pick their manifesto, when you read, you'll be shocked. Why is it that this is what is written down and what we are seeing in public is completely opposite what they are doing? See, Nigeria does not need a new policy. There are big, most of the policies we have in our country today, if we actually implement them well, do you know that we'll be one of the best countries in the world? Even this present government of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, if they have implemented the policies they put out without corruption, without stealing, without looting, do you know that we will have seen a lot of impact, great impact in Nigeria? So the ideologies are there, but the people who are carrying that ideology, that's where the problem is. Because most of our politicians does not have a second job. It's only in Nigeria that the only job they have is politics. So once they're in politics, all they are doing is amassing wealth. Once they lose and they go back to society, they cannot maintain that lifestyle they have been doing when they were in politics. And the money goes down because they have no business. They have no companies they are running. Now they are looking for how to go back. That is how you see that they are talking from both sides of their mouth. The one that will say, I won't do this today. You will see them, if I can use example of Reno Mokri, who will condemn a government today, and tomorrow they are joining them. Why? Because they have no any other job they are doing. The only job they have is politics. But now I'm a politician. I'm also a licensed nurse. I just left Nigeria. I'm now working. So if I leave presidency tomorrow, I can go back to hospital and continue my work as a nurse if I want to. But they don't have anything. That is why it looks like there's no ideology, because every one of them are the same. But some of us want to change that orientation. This generation of politicians, we want to retire them and start a new, that's why I call it rewriting a story, the new story of Nigeria. So it will not be a story where there will be ideology, so that your party will be known for something. Before this generation, when we have the likes of Obafemi Awolowo, Nnamdi Azikiwe, Tafawa Balewa, they were people with ideology. You know what Action Congress, what it was for. You know what NCNC, led by Nnamdi Azikiwe, what it was for. You know what Shehu Shagari and Tafawa Balewa, what their party, what is, we knew them. But after their time, this generation, when they came, there was no ideology. It was about money, looting, rice and beans, and that was it. So what we are saying now is, in 2027, let us start our country afresh. Let's rewrite this story. Let's tell Nigerians that people have ideology. And when they have ideology, you will see that this is what they stand for, and this is what they are doing. And that was why I said, if Mr. P2B had ideology and stand for something, then he won't go and join the same set of people that he told us that we all know are the problems of Nigeria. And also, if he has ideology, there are millions of good people in the north to pick. It doesn't necessarily have to go and pick a Kwakwanso to be a running mate, because Kwakwanso belongs to the same part of people for the last 42 years that has wrecked our country. So he cannot claim now to be the one that is going to fix it. So instead, let every one of them go and rest, and let us fix our nation. When Mr. P2B was governor of Anambra State, he did marvelously well. He left money for the state. That's good. Well, it may be different from his set of politicians, but every one of them, I think they have tried their best. They should rest and let we, the organization, pick up the baton and fix our nation.
Thank you, Mr. Joseph. The older generation, are they all done? Are they all done with? Isn't there? Don't you believe in a second chance for them, that they could do better, that they could turn a new leaf? Have you totally lost hope in the older generation, such that they can't perform anything good? And then, which also leads us to, many would argue that it's a great political calculation on Mr. P2B to have chosen a former governor, Mr. Kwankwaso, there in Kano, as his running mate, so as to win Kano State. Don't you think that's smart on his hand to do? Well, we're going to come down to what your own strategy are in terms of winning Kano State. Because if you followed the results, I'm sure you did. The presidential election results, how that Kano really produced a huge number. And looking at that number, if you were to become the president of Nigeria, winning Kano is a must. Or
All
at
right.
least
Okay.
coming close to winning Kano is a must. So how do you tie all this together, sir?
First and foremost, let me start from the first thing you said about our old leaders. Can we say today, because Super Eagles is not performing well, let's bring back DJ Kucha to come and play number 10? Can Brazilian team says, let's imagine that Pele was still alive, or where we see have Ronaldo, let's say, oh, Brazilian team, because they lost in the World Cup, oh, I think we need to bring back Ronaldo to come and play so that we can win next World Cup. Am I making sense to you? These leaders are done. They have been former governor, former senator, former this, former, they are tired, and we all know that. We can see they have nothing else. There's so much stealing under them, they don't even have an idea. Do we even know if they are medically fit? There is something that is done abroad. You are medically tested to see whether you are even fit. Why did Biden didn't run last election? Because he wasn't medically fit anymore. Our leaders, are they medically fit that they are going abroad every 2 months for medical treatment? They are not medically fit anymore. When Buhari was head of state at 29-year-old, was he traveling abroad for medical treatment? But when he came back as say Baba, he was going abroad every month. When President Bola Tinubu was a governor of Lagos State, was he going abroad for medical treatment? No. But today, he's going abroad for medical treatment every other month. They are tired. They are not medically fit. They are not physically fit. So if that is the case, let us allow them to rest. If I have a father at 70-year-old, will he still be working while I sit down at home and eating? I will tell my father, Papa, go and rest. It is time for you to hit the labor that you have worked all your life. So they have done it is time for them to rest. So that we, younger generation, it is Sheikh Tinubu that's supposed to be running for election, not Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Having said that, calculating, using Kano as a calculation to pick up, and so I disagree with it, and I'll tell you why I disagree with it. Last election, Mr. Peter Obi won that last election that it was rigged out without picking anybody from Kano. Nigeria was not as worst as this 4 years ago. Yet he got 6 million votes. And most of those votes now have dropped out away from him because they realize that he's a man that is not stable, he's not ready to feel the heat, and he's not ready to stand on something. Because if I ask you today, what are the policies of Mr. Peter Obi? He doesn't have one. Mr. Peter Obi tells stories. That's what he does. That's what I realized. That, okay, what is Mr. Peter Obi's stand on this? Mr. Peter Obi does not have a stand on anything, but he tells stories about it. Stories that you and I can tell. But Nigeria's story is not about story anymore. It's about what are you going to do? When they ask Mr. Peter Obi what he's going to do about electricity, he said, oh, on electricity, I'm going to keep what I'm going to do. No, tell the people what you will do. It doesn't mean if the government of the day want to steal your idea and do it, let them steal it and do it. You want Nigeria to work anyway, let it work. So, picking a Kwakwanso from the north or from Kano because it's a calculation, I disagree. Nigeria does not need a Kwakwanso to vote who they want to vote for. So Kwakwanso and Kano is not even together anymore. Don't forget that the former governor, the governor right now of Kano is with APC. So the vote is Ganduje is also away. So the vote is going to be shared by every aspirant. But we are not looking for Kano. We are not looking for Lagos. We are going to use the youth of Nigeria. The youth of Nigeria are 65% of the population. The same youth that Kwakwanso turned to Kwakwansia, and all he used is use truck to carry them to campaign ground. How many youths? How many youths in Kano that Kwakanso has removed out of poverty? Go and check. He has a campaign ground. The whole full up there. They were up. They bring them with truck from Kano. That is not the kind of country we want to create. Let's create a country where those youths, where those followers will be coming with their cars to our campaign ground, not the one we are packing with truck that we used to use to pack a cow. So that is not the nation that we need to create in 2027. It's a nation where in the next 4 years, many Nigerians can afford to buy Nigerian-made car and be paying small, the way it's done abroad. So our campaign is going to be clear. It is the new versus the old. Kwakwanso, Mr. Peter Obi, and every one of them belongs to the old. It is time to rewrite the story of Nigeria and to write it new. And I represent that new generation of youth, of women, of children who has no hope tomorrow. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. We want to get to learn some more about your political party, the Action Alliance. We haven't spoken much about your political party. We do understand, however, that you moved, just like Mr. Peter Obi and many other prominent politicians like Alhaji Atiku Abubakar, and as well as even Kwankwaso himself, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu as well. They've decamped severally. And we do understand that you moved from the Labour Party. Now you became a member of the National Rescue Movement, and then a member of the NNPP, and now you're a member of the AA, Action Alliance. We want to understand more about your party. Can you please tell Nigerians more about your political party? And as well as speaking about the Kano state, we believe you're also considering picking a running mate down the road. Where would you speculate, or which state do you have in mind as to where your running mate will be coming in from? Go ahead, sir. Over to you, sir.
Thank you. I'll answer the last question first. We're working on running mates from basically northwest. It might be from Kano, it might be from Maiduguri, not northwest or northeast, one of those places. We're not just looking to pick a candidate because we want to just who has a follower who can help us win. Our policies, what we bring to the table, what we're going to tell Nigeria is what will help us win. When the youth of Nigeria see a youth like them, so they will know that someday that Nigeria will live from oligarchy, where it is few people, few names that are running it. That a child of nobody. I lost my father when I was 4 years old, and my mother when I was 14 years old. At 14-year-old, I became an orphan. And that orphan child from 14-year-old, no father, no mother, who rose to be a graduate, I looked for a job for 5 years in my country, couldn't find one, but came to America and got a job in 5 days and became or become what I am today. So the story of Nigeria, I'm a story of Nigeria, and that story will be completed when I become Nigerian president, so that any child in Nigeria who has no father, who has no mother, can know that there is a future for them. They can be something in that country. So the youth of Nigeria, those children who have no hope, those children who cannot afford to go to school abroad, but are in Nigeria and absence on strike, those youth who have graduated and has no job because this government has not created one, we know that the story of their nation is not completed yet, that it will be written, and that is what we're trying to do. So those youth are the ones that are going to be core of our politics. So that is that on that. So Action Alliance is one of the beautiful political parties that is number 2 on the ballot. And when you look at the manifesto, if you're able to go to the constitution, you will see that they have a beautiful ideology of a nation where everything works, a nation where food is surplus, a nation where leaders will be responsible, a nation where there will be accountability, a nation where leaders will say what they will do, not say something and do something different. A nation that will be together in unity, in harmony. A nation where we will be our brothers' keepers and not our brothers' killers. A nation where everything we have will be used, not by few, but will be used to take care of everybody in our country. These are the beautiful, I'm just putting into context how people will understand what Action Alliance AA stands for. And many of these parties too also have these beautiful ideas, but it's just that we have people at the top of their ticket who cannot translate it into reality to make life of Nigerians beautiful, better, and prosperous.
Thank you, sir. Uh, many politicians use the word Nigerian youths a lot. Can you help us understand what groups of Nigerian youths are you referring to? Because all the political parties have Nigerian youths. They are all banking on the Nigerian youths. There are Nigerian youths in the APC, in the PDP, in Labour Party, in AA, your political party, in ADC and NDC. And there are Nigerian youths who are not so much interested in the forthcoming elections, who do not even have their PVC. And there are Nigerian youths, of course, quite a few numbers, or vast majority of those, them who are actually non-partisan, who do not belong to any political party. So when you use the word Nigerian youths, what category of Nigerian youth are you referring to? Can you help us clarify that, sir?
I am I am referring to every Nigerian youth, no matter where they are, whether youth in APC, whether youth in NDC, whether youth in the ADC, whether youth in HAPGA, whether youth in AA, because these politicians have used us. Because I belong to the youth age, they have used us. We are youth and dumb generation. So this election, we're not going to be used and dumb generation anymore. We're going to be youthful and not useless anymore. Because we have been a youth, they classify as youthfully useless. Let's use them to carry ballot. Let's use them to carry gun. Let's use them to win. And after we win, finish, we dump them until the next 4 years. Because you realize that after they become leaders, finish, you go and check the appointments. If they want to appoint you into places, they will give them essay to government on this, essay to this and that. But go and check their main appointments. They are given to themselves. So all they have done in the last couple of years is use the youth of Nigeria to gain power, only to dump them. So every of those youths are my target. It is not just youth in AA alone. Even youth in APC who can reason and say, how at your age would you be voting for a man who promised you light, didn't give you light, and you are using small money you have to buy power bank? How in your age are you going to be defending and also voting for a man who's supposed to create jobs for you to do after graduation and didn't provide you one? So all of these stories are what we're going to push out there. So, because if you look at last election, let's be honest, most Nigerian people belong to a party, but they don't really actually have a party. Nigerians are ready to vote for a candidate that they believe in. How do you think Mr. P2B got 6 million in last election? You think it's only a Labour Party youth or candidate or people? No. Everybody from APC, PDP voted, last election and voted for a candidate they felt was best in 2023. So in 2027, Nigerians would vote for a candidate they feel is best. And you'll be shocked that whether it's APC, whether it's PDP, whether it's ADC or my party Action Alliance, people are going to vote for Faduri Oluwadare Joseph. Because one, he's young. Two, he has ideas. His manifestos are what you can relate with. And he's starting Nigeria's story new. Nigeria used to be the giant, not of Africa, of the world. 50 years ago, Americans were in Nigeria. British, German, Indians, Chinese. They were all there. We were not going abroad. South Africans were here. But what happened later? Today, now we are running back to their country. After the leaders we have squander everything that we have. And they're still squandering it. So Nigerians are looking for a true leader. And they will see that in Father Joe in 2027. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Let's touch a little bit more on zoning and we'll talk some more about your political party. Zoning, many see zoning as common sense. Even where you reside, the United States, one of the countries you happen to reside in, their own version of zoning, not necessarily zoning, a political party, the Democratic political party, as you are also familiar with, they, when it comes to imbibing different races, different groups of people, they seem to have that together. For example, you find a white Caucasian man running for governor of a state, and his running mate happens to be a woman or happens to be an African American, or vice versa, right? In a
Yeah.
way, that's common sense.
Yeah.
Many would argue. Now, when we bring it back to home to Nigeria, there's a certain tribe, which is the Igbo tribe, that are longing to produce a president, and you are in the race, and your political party clearly never zoned the presidential ticket to that tribe. Do you not have a problem with that, or do you have a problem with that? And you are in the race for president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, and there's an individual, well, there are two or three individuals from that tribe who are actually also in the race for president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Isn't that a problem or issue to you? Why don't you want to step down and allow someone from that tribe become the next president of Nigeria?
Thank you for that question. There is nothing wrong in zoning. To be honest with you, it's a common sense thing to talk about zoning. But the problem in our country is that since we have been zoning, have we really had a good leader from both sides of the zoning? The question is zero. The zoning that we have been doing is zoning that it is your time to shop. When you guys finish 8 years, send it to us. It's our time to shop. But in writing the new story of Nigeria, I learned that Nigeria has 250 ethnic groups. Because when you're talking about Hausa, Igbo, Yoruba, what happened to the BBO man? Are you saying that for the rest of his life, he can never get a shot at presidency? The man in other small ethnic groups. I want us to rewrite the new story of Nigeria. When I become Nigerian president, I have an idea to put together a 500-man panel constitutional review committee, picking two people from each ethnic groups of that 250, making 500. Let us sit down. Let us rewrite our constitution, how we want to be governed. So that at the end of the day, we will now call our constitution, we, the people of Nigeria, wrote this. Not the one given to us by military or the one given to us by some kangaroo constitutional review committee and handed over to us, and it has not been working. Having said that, in 2027, I do not see that power going to the southeast is going to be the solution of Nigerian problem. See, if you have one good leader who is doing the right thing in our country, you know that Nigeria will not talk about zoning. If you have a leader who, for instance, is carrying everybody along, is doing for the east, is doing for the west, is doing for the south. The reason why we are doing the zoning thing is because we feel, okay, it's our turn too to chop. It's not because of, if you have, for instance, if I become Nigerian president and I make Innocence the official car of Nigeria, who owns Inochukwu Innocence? It's not from the east, is that part of Nigeria? At the end of the day, I've not empowered the whole Eastern people that they are the one producing cars that Nigeria is driving, all Nigerian officials is driving. Do that make sense to you? So,
Yes,
a lot of time, what is happening in our country is because every of these zones feel marginalized. That is why we are saying, oh, it's time for our own to run too, because you guys are not giving us nothing. When you create a nation where people feel to be part of the government, nobody will cry. Even though in America we're talking about, okay, some of these things that that goes on, even in a state where it doesn't happen, we still move on. We still get, because the leaders still there, still get things done. they don't marginalize any race. But many people in Nigeria are marginalized. The Fulanis will say they are being marginalized. So everybody feel marginalized because we don't have a good leader at the top. When you have a good leader at the top who says nobody is going abroad, we are all going to school here, school is compulsory, and provide money for education, and the Almajiris, the Fulanis, the Hausas, the Easterners, everybody is in school, paid for by government. In Qatar, once you are ready to go to school, Qatar pay for your school fees from primary school to university, irrespective of which tribe you came from. So in such a country, would you feel marginalized when government give you free education, whether you're Hausa, Igbo, or Yoruba? So the reason why we are doing all of these, north, south, it's because we have not got a good leader. The day we got a good leader, we rewrite the story of Nigeria. One of the things I want to do is day one to free Nnamdi Kanu from prison. Because if we are holding him because we felt he committed felony, because he did, the people in government are doing worse than what Nnamdi Kanu has done. Let's forgive everybody and let us start the story of Nigeria new. And you will see that Nnamdi Kanu will not ask for hype up when he sees that his region is fully represented and given the opportunity, to produce something for Nigeria. So our country and our problem is not necessarily this zoning thing. It's because we have not got a good leader at the top. That's why sometimes I could buy the idea with Atiku, even though he's selfish of wanting to run forever. But when you have a good leader, which cannot come from Atiku anyway, a good leader like us, you will see that Nigeria will no longer talking about zoning. They will be now talking about a good leader, because we need a good leader, not just to zone to somewhere. What are we zoning? What are we zoning it for? Is it because of money, because of looting, or because of good governance? Thank you.
Thank you. Still on the issue of zoning, I want us to dig a little bit much more deeper. Many Nigerians watching would argue and say that the people from the Eastern tribe, the Igbos, are you telling them that there are no one single qualified good Nigerian who is of the Igbo speaking tribe that can become the president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria? Is that what you're saying? You clearly are not for the kind of zoning to a tribe. You're speaking more of the kind of zoning to competence, which is good. Now the question is, can't we find a competent Nigerian who is of the Igbo speaking tribe run for president? Would you step aside for such an individual?
In this election, I have not seen one.
You've not seen one?
Yeah, okay. Mr. Pitobi is not the best of Igbo land. Like I said, he's a good man. But being a good man is not enough to run Nigeria. A Nigerian leader must be good and rugged. And sometimes I ask myself if Mr. Pitobi is actually an Igbo man or not an Igbo man, because an Igbo man is tough. An Igbo man is decisive. If Igbo man was the one that won 2023 election, he won't allow himself to be rigged. In 2023, Nigeria were ready for a revolution. In 2023, what we had was a movement, not just a political party. But the man on top of that ticket wasn't ready for a revolution. Because if he was ready for revolution, he would not have been rigged out of that election. We all knew the election was rigged. It was all out there. We all knew what Wike did in Rivers. If it happens in the nation, in another country, you will be asking for a recount of those states. Let's recount the vote of those states that was rigged. That is what revolution is all about. That is a man who lead a movement. I can use Trump as an example. When he lost, even though he lost, he stood by making sure some states were recanted over and over again. You and I know that. So when you are dealing with people, Nigerian politicians who are lawless. I'm not saying you should take law into your hands, but you fight, and people should see. Nigerians were ready to fight. Nigerians were ready to move. Nigerians were ready to do everything, but the man on top of the ticket wasn't ready to do nothing. That was why
Thank you.
election was lost. Going to court
Thank you.
was not
Yes, sir.
enough, because we are going to court to meet who? To meet people who rig you out of office, who rig election. What are you expecting to get from them? Now they are buying and they are building houses for judges. They know what they are doing. So they want to make sure that judges are captured. Judiciary in our country is captured. We all know that. But the people are not captured. And the people spoke in 2023. But the man that has the baton could not finish the race with the people. So what will happen in 2027? Now that Tinubu is now the one organizing the election, except in another movement for someone who is ready to lead the movement, that is when we're going to have a country. So I hope I'm able to make that, clear. So it is not that there are no good, great people in the Southeast who can be Nigerian president, but I don't see it in Mr. Peter Obi. I'm sorry. He's a good man. I'm not going to take that away from him. But Nigeria does not need only a good man now. Nigeria needs a good man who can also kick ass. That is what we need in 2027, because things have gotten spoiled so much that, look at what happened in Labour Party. Being a good man also led Labour Party to be destroyed under Mr. Peter Obi, and he could not hold it together. Being a good man make him to go to ADC. Being a good man make him to go to where now is easy, given ticket unopposed. Fight. A good man must be a fighter. An Igbo man that I know, they are fighters, but I don't see one in Mr. Peter Obi. So when I see one that is a fighter, when I see one that is rugged, when I see one that shows to be ready, then I will support. And that is why I'm standing, that what we need in 2027 is not just, okay, look at, the man has not even taken power. He's already promising, after 4 years, I'm going to leave. What about if after 4 years, Nigeria wants you to stay? We are not even giving the people. We are closing door because you've got to sign an agreement with the Kwakwanso that after 4 years, we'll give power to him. That is the only reason why Kwakwanso is in the game. And we are saying it every day, and we are not even giving the people that want to vote for you the opportunity that after 4 years, if you do well and if they feel you should finish the 8 years, we can rearrange, we can make adjustment. Even if we say we're having 8 years, we can make adjustment to the 8 years. If we have a good leader who is competent, Nigeria will not care. If in 4 years' time, if you have a good leader who has turned Nigeria from what it is today to better, do you think Nigeria will say go and because your time is over? No. There is nobody who will see a good government and don't say, stay and finish the job. Because Nigeria is not looking for just rotating power. They are looking for competency. They are looking for a leader who can give them the basic standard of living that we get across the world. So if you're not saying you're going to do 4 years, no matter what, you're going to leave, then you're not ready to be Nigerian president. Let the people decide in 4 years' time if they want you to stay or they want you to leave. So all of this combined together is the reason why I am standing to say enough. All of this generation should go away. And let us not make a mistake of saying because we want to give an Igbo man ticket, he's going to be there for 4 years and hand over power. No matter what he has done, he will just hand over power and won't be able to finish what he has started. Let's use Alex Oti, Abia State governor, as an example. He's one of the governors we are saying he's doing well. Is he leaving? He's not leaving. He's contesting to finish the job. So if you're going to fix Nigeria, you need to finish the job. Let the people be the one to say, we want you or we don't want you. But when they have put gun on your head to sign for 4 years, and everywhere you go is 4 years, you're not spending more than 4 years, then you're not ready. Did Mr. Peter Obi run Anambra and finish it in 4 years? No. He spent 8 years to finish his job there. So now compared to a country that is already bastardized, that is already, do you know how much debt we are in today? How much crisis Nigeria is in today? Unemployment, oil theft, and all of that. There's a lot to fix in our country. Insecurity all over the place. There is a lot to fix in our nation. And to say, I'm not going to come in 4 years and no matter what happens, I'm leaving. No, it's a fraudulent arrangement. And that's why I'm not supporting it. So we maybe differ, but I'm not supporting it. And I'd rather stand as a new face, a new generation to take Nigeria to where it's supposed to be in 2027.
Thank you. So you intend to fix Nigeria's problem in 8 years, correct? You need 2 terms to fix Nigerian problem.
Definitely, Nigeria is messed up beyond what anybody can fix in 4 years. Let us be honest. Nigeria
is messed up.
Because one problem in Nigeria is that once you leave a government, you know that there's no continuity in government in Nigeria. Even when you have a good idea, when a new government comes, they abandon your project because they want to start a new one in their name. There are some good projects of Jonathan that Buhari came and abandoned because they want to start their own. There are some good projects of Obasanjo that the next government didn't pick. There are some good projects of Buhari that Tinubu came and dumped. That is the story of our country. I can assure you that if a Mr. Peter Obi starts a good project, there's a lot of possibility that after 4 years, Kwakwanso abandons them and start new one. And even apart from that, at 74, is already over old to continue to run Nigeria. So that is the problem I have with the arrangement. So anyone that will fix Nigeria, that will give Nigeria light, that will fix the refinery, that will fix education, to be honest, will spend more than 4 years. If after 4 years, Nigerian fix is not good enough, just like we are telling Tinubu today, we are not good enough, go. Let Nigeria be the one to decide. Let not the politicians be the one to decide. So I am not saying I'm spending 4 years or 8 years. I am running for Nigerian president. After 4 years, whatever we are able to do, let Nigerians decide if they need us to finish this job or they need us to go.
Thank you. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much, sir. You, as president, when you become the president of Nigeria, you would have the privilege of appointing people into your cabinet. When you look at the crops of people who are presently running for president, is there any individual or are there individuals there with whom you might consider extending, an olive branch to come join and be part of your cabinet as president of Nigeria? If so, who are those? Who is that person?
Thank you for that beautiful question. And like I said, you're reading my mind because I've thought about it. That if I become when I become Nigerian president, who can I work with? I would promise you today, I will work with the best of Nigeria. I do not care which party they belong to. I will work with the best of Nigeria, not saying, oh, because it's not in my party. If there's anyone that I will work with as a Minister of Education, is Mr. Peter Obi. Mr. Peter Obi turned education in Anambra from something to something. And I feel that in that area, I will give him an A in whatever he has done in Anambra State. And I feel that someone like Mr. Peter Obi can be a Minister of Education in our country that will make our nation better, to fix our educational system. That's one person I can say to the public that I will do. So if there's anybody else that I feel, can help, that's of Sowore, I can bring them, all of them in. They have been criticizing government for a long time. Okay, this area of corruption, you get in there and let me see what you can do. And let Nigeria tell you your report card. So I'm going to bring in the best of Nigeria, not just politicians, technocrats to see what they can do. Nigerians both home and abroad. I'm not going to put a organizer to be minister of sports. No, it will be someone who has the experience, who has been there before, who has played football before, who knows what it feels to be a footballer. So when we begin to do all of these things, you will see that we'll have a nation that in 4 years we'll be proud of.
Many of our fellow Easterners, those in the East, Anambra, Abia, Enugu, Ebonyi, and as well as Anambra State, Abia State, Enugu State, Ebonyi State, and we can throw in Delta states. Let's throw in the entire southern states, South as well. They would differ with you, and many would actually not be pleased with your approach as to not finding it okay to have an Igbo presidential candidate. Well, you have expressed that you have not found, as at now, a younger Igbo presidential candidate in the race. If you do, and if he or she were to be competent, you would most likely step aside for such. Right now, that is not the case. There's none at the moment. Now, which leads us straight
Don't
into your
forget,
political party of the AA, the
don't
Alliance.
forget those Easterners should not forget that I was the one that stepped down for Mr. P2B barely 4 years ago. If I don't want an Easterner to become Nigerian president, will I do that? I had an option to
And
stop
those
him,
same Easterners will
but
be
I never did.
asking, yes, and those same Easterners will be asking you today. Many of them would want to know, how do you intend to come win their states? What's your plan? What's your political party's plan in terms of winning the southeastern states to become the next president of Nigeria?
Well, democracy is government of the people, by the people, and for the people. Even in the eastern state we are talking about, is it everybody that is supporting Mr. P2B? No. We have APCs there. We have PDPs there. So we have people that differ, even when they are Igbos, that also are not supporting. What are the Cubana chief priests and all of them? Are they supporting Mr. P2B? No. So people have a right to choose who they want to support. Those that will support Mr. P2B will do. Those that will support Tinubu in that eastern part will still do. Those that will support Atiku will do. And those that will say, this is a young man, why don't we try a young man and just leave all of these tribalism out of the race? So democracy gives us the opportunity to choose. So there is no way, if there are other candidates too, they will still vote for them. So I represent a new generation. What I represent is not what this older generation represents. That's why I'm different. So it is I with the people and they politicians. So it's going to be a lesson of the people and the politicians. And the politicians are the Kokwansos and the Obis and all of them. So that one man is good is not enough for us to now say because of that, let's blindly just follow him when there are competent and younger hands that can undo our nation. If Mr. P2B was my uncle, by now I would tell him to rest. And so the eastern part of Nigeria will be well taken care of. Every part of Nigeria, even those who are minority, will be well taken care of. At the end of the day, what Nigerians are looking for is to get out of this mess we find ourselves. And if a young man like me can get us out, why don't we do that? Instead of just looking for somebody from a race to lead Nigeria.
More on your political party, the Action Alliance. Right now, at the moment, correct me if I'm wrong. There are no gubernatorial. Well, there is not one single governorship, a governor who is of the AA political party right now. There are no senators who is of the AA Action Alliance political party. And more than likely, I don't know how many House of Rep members, if at all, that your party has that's of the Action Alliance. I don't know how many House of Assembly members in the entire 36 states. We do not know that figure. How do you intend to win the presidency, knowing full well that your political party, fair to say, might not be fully represented in every part of Nigeria? What's the plan?
This story was played in 2023. The Labour Party has nothing. In fact, Labour Party was dead. I was the one that woke it up. And I'm always proud to say that. If anybody wants to say it was somebody else that woke Labour Party up, they should come and challenge me to it, or ask Barrister Abure, Dr. Arabambi, and many of them that who woke up Labour Party. It was a sleeping giant that was dead asleep. I woke it up, made it viable before Mr. Peter B came in and used that platform to contest. But as at 2023, all of these things you mentioned, do we have them in Labour Party? No. Nigerians are tired of the same old gimmicks that our politicians play. They'll say, oh, don't worry, that young man can't do nothing. His party has no governor, has no. But today, if you ask Nigerian people, are they ready to support the governors they have in their state? Are they ready to support House of Rep and Senate members, the ones who are rubber stamping in Abuja, the ones who have the budget in front of them, and many frivolous and dubious and fraudulent things are injected into our budget? So what we are today are not politicians who are patriotic about Nigeria. They are only patriotic to themselves and to their pocket. So Nigerians knows that. And Nigerians are looking for a patriotic and a genuine and a sincere leader. And they saw, if they see it, they will follow one. And that was what they did in 2023 before, when some of us now begin to see, other parts, of the man that we didn't know before. They'll say, oh, no, this is not the best Nigeria could produce. So in 2027, if Nigeria sees a young, vibrant, patriotic, and passionate young man who can take this country out of this mess, having governor, having House of Rep, having senator, won't be a stopper in 2027. So we will write that story and write it bigger, 2027.
Okay. Let's not forget. You just criticized a fellow contender in the race for president, which is the person of Mr. Peter Obi. How that you said he was not able to stay with a political party and build that political party. Well, many would argue and say, aren't you also doing the exact same thing? Because you left the Labour Party for the National Rescue Movement political party. You left that party for the NNPP, and now you're the flag bearer for the Action Alliance party. Aren't they similar to you? What's the difference? Why did you decamp from those parties? What's wrong with those political parties? Why didn't you stay in those parties to help build those parties?
Thank you very much. The difference between me and Mr. Peter Obi is that I'm a builder. That's the difference between the two of us. I built Labour Party. He came to enjoy what I built. And I stayed waiting for him to put the party together. But when it was obvious that the party could not be put together, I left. But I didn't go to ADC, where they already built. I went to NRM to go and build the party. But at some point, the party compromised. They compromised values. They compromised integrity. And the party I was building, I could have gone to go and join ADC. I could have gone to go and join PDP, a big party. But I didn't go to join a big party. I went to a party that has nothing. And I didn't go there to say, give me the ticket or nobody else should contest. I gave them the opportunity to bring in more candidates to contest. But at the end of the day, I saw that they were compromising. That the ideals was not to produce a presidency. The ideals was to get money and to sell their soul, to the ruling party. That was why I left. NMPP was the party I started from in the beginning. And I tried to call them to go back to say, let us work together. Let's see what we can do. I went to them, and I went to the faction that was fighting to be on INEC Portal. I stayed with them, and I fought with them to get them on INEC Portal. But unfortunately, these are leaders who are just looking for money, not looking to produce good leaders. So most of the parties we have in Nigeria are not parties who are looking to be an opposition for better governance. They are mostly opposition to what they can get. But in the middle of all of that, I am a fighter. I fought. I wasn't just jumping from one to the other. I was fighting along the way. That is how you know a leader. A leader who can fight, and after fighting, you realize that, okay, I'm not a leader of a party. But when Mr. Peter Obi was the candidate of that party, he was the leader. So he had more power. He had more strength. In fact, if he cough, Nigerians will follow and say, yes, what that man said is what we're going to do. So he had the power I never had. If I had such power, I would have stayed in the Labour Party and put the party together. So because I don't have the power that he had, there's little to what I can do. Those politicians in those parties have the power until they hand over the power to you as a candidate. So that is the difference between us. So when we restart the story of Nigeria, we will create political parties where there will be ideology, where it won't be for money, it will be for patriotic service of Nigeria. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. We're going to bring this wonderful dialogue to a close shortly. But before we do, you happen to live in one of the diaspora, you live outside, you live in the United States and as well as Nigeria. And every blessed day, thousands and millions of money is being poured into Nigeria from Nigerians in the diaspora who are outside of Nigeria. And they could literally call the shots as to who would become the next president in 2027 of the Federal Republic of Nigeria by telling their friends and families and loved ones as to whom they should commit to voting for, right? Diaspora voting, sadly, was not a success this time around. That would have been so helpful. And right now, we are at a point whereby, in a way, we have a very weakened opposition, right? Political parties have been weakened so far. Now, many would say that whoever is going to be the next president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria owes the nation an apology for bad leadership. And we certainly hope that if that were to be you, you would get to address the entire Nigerian populace and apologize to them for the bad leadership for several many years. We, of course, as always, we're very appreciative that you've thrown your hat in the ring and you're running for president. And we want you to take this moment to tie all these things together and address Nigerians all over the world. Speak to them and tell them your mind, and tell them what you're looking forward to. Even for those who are discouraged in terms of participating in the upcoming election, what you have to say to them, go for it. So it's your time right now to address the Nigerian people. Over to you, sir.
I want to first and foremost say thank you, Mr. Jude, for giving me the opportunity and your platform to be able to reach many Nigerians, both home and abroad. Thank you, and thank you, and thank your team who also are doing this. Now, to my fellow Nigerians, both home and abroad, I feel your pain. I feel your frustrations. I feel your hunger when you see things happening around the world, but opposite is what is happening in our nation. We all want a nation to flourish. Some of us don't want to go outside of our country. But what can we do when there is no job, when there's no greener pasture? But also, we are to be blamed for where our country is today, especially the good people. Because many of us left politics. We left it, we felt, no, it's a dirty game. We are educated. I don't want to be part of it. No, it's for touts. Forgetting that the policies that they make will affect every one of us. And for many years, We did not involve in the politics of our country. We were busy speaking English. While those who has primary school certificate were busy running a nation. Nigerians are one of the best anywhere they are in the world. Best doctors, best nurses, best this and best that. But we are being led by the least and the worst of our society. And that is why today we have a nation that we cannot be proud of. So we all are to be blamed for it. But in the middle of this, I want every one of us to come together. That is only all of us that can come together to change the story of our nation. Thank you to every Nigerians who are abroad, who are sending pounds, riyal, dollars home every day. It is because of you that Nigeria is still standing. If no money coming from you, Nigerians will have been eating Nigerians. But because some of you are still sending a little dollar, a little pounds home, Nigerians still have hope of being able to eat the next day. But we're going to go beyond just sending money home to determine the destiny of our nation from 2027. That everyone we are sending money to in Nigeria, also you are going to reach out to them that even though I cannot vote, you are going to represent my vote. And I will tell you who to vote for. Not this crop of leaders who have run our country, who have ruined our country to what it is today. But a young man who has lived in life as a story of Nigeria, no father at 4 years old, no mother at 14 years old, but in the middle of that, didn't become a tout, went to school, graduated, became a sociologist, got an opportunity to go abroad, started, opened a foundation since 2014, helping people, helping widows, giving scholarship. And yet, in 2023, fought to us to have a nation. And in 2027 now, wanting to sacrifice everything he has so that we can have a country. Knowing that that country you are, in the US, in Canada, in UK, people fought for it. So we must fight for our country, because if we don't fight for our country, we will have no nation to go to anymore. We will become a second generation of slaves abroad who will not be able to go back to his country. So that is why we cannot give up on our nation. We cannot give up on our country. No matter how American you are, they will still call you Nigerian American. No matter how British you are, they will still call you Nigerian British. They will still put Nigerian in front of your citizenship. The only one place you are called Nigerian and nothing else is in Nigeria. The black people has built the world, built America, built Europe. The only one place the black man has not built is our continent, Africa. And if Nigeria, the most populous black nation on earth, can build one, it will spread across other African nations. So I'm calling on you to support me, to join me. Go to www.fadojo.com.ng and see how you can contribute, because this fight, I cannot do it by myself alone. The people I'm contesting with have stolen so much. So dollar by dollar, pounds by pounds, we can match them. But people by people, we can match them. If you can call on 2, 3, 4 people of your people back home and say, please support this young man, and let's rewrite the story of our country. So that someday Nigerians will carry their bags, whatever they are, around the world, and say, it is time to come home to Nigeria. Thank you. Yes, we can, and yes, we will. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you very much, Mr. Joseph Faduri. We appreciate your time. As always, we at JE Field Strategy, a non-partisan political consulting firm, we strongly believe that a good candidate can emerge from whatever political party he or she finds herself in. We are very thankful to see a young man like yourself who is aspiring to becoming the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, and we wish you the very best. Once again, we thank you and have a wonderful evening. And bye, everyone.
Thank you.